college basketball season right around the corner. Coach Hurley, welcome back to the podcast. Happy to have you back on.
Yeah, great to be here, Jared, man. It's getting cold out, so you know it's our time is coming.
Exactly. So I want to start. I know since you've come to UConn, each year is part of this, rebuilding process. You've had pretty specific goals and what you're looking to see year in and year out here. As you head into year 5, what are you looking to see out of the team this year to determine success here in year 5?
Yeah, a little bit of like a culture. I mean, a bunch of things. Obviously, you want to sleep better because you feel like you're more confident that you've got like a program and a team that has an expectation of winning, as opposed to not being sure or having an expectation that it's not going to go well. And I think we've that's transformed over the course of the last couple of years. I go back to the end of year 2 and just the end of that season, winning 5 in a row and playing really well down the stretch going into the AAC tournament, and how well Christian Vital was playing, and it was really the turning point of the program right there for us. I think we've been a really good contending team, really since that point. But going from contending to championship level is where we're trying to get to.
In terms of the offseason, I know everything going in and out with the transfer portal is the new norm here. How was it adjusting to that this season? And did you have to, switch up your strategy, much when it came to this offseason here?
Yeah, I think there was just so much, there was just so much going on when the season ended. Obviously, you had you had players that were likely to leave, that still had eligibility,
Mm-hmm.
with RJ and Tyrese, that were great players for us, and obviously they had the extra year, but they were likely to leave, and a year from now, a situation like that, may be different at UConn for players in their position. But at the time, it was really the only thing that made sense for them. And we just felt like with Adama, and Jordan Hawkins potentially being in a position to have a breakout year as a sophomore, and having a junior year Andre Jackson, that we needed to go into the portal and bring in some veteran players that could hit the ground running and be able to blend with some really good returning players. And then obviously an Alex Caravan and a Donovan Clingan, some freshmen that we expect big things from, and Samson Johnson, who we felt like is a guy that had a lot of ability. So I mean, there was a flexibility, and I think that we had to have. I would always prefer, recruiting high school players, straight away, and mixing in an occasional transfer like an RJ, like Tyrese. But I just think that there's so much going on that we handle things appropriately.
One thing I think that excited UConn fans that, we had seen in the past, and we've seen some international players make, some big moves here at UConn. What went into going after some of these international guys this year?
Yeah, I think we were in a spot where we were debating what approach to take, in terms of roster size. We weren't really sure. I think we were obviously, there were very few surprises in terms of the people that left us here in the portal.
Mm-hmm.
I think we anticipated like most, if not all of them, right? So, but we didn't like it. We were frustrated. Obviously, we wished that that we had done a better job as coaches, and that every player was as successful as they wanted to be, and we're in a position where it made sense for them to stay. So,
Mm-hmm.
So now you're saying to yourself, I guess, as you get into the off season, Or as you're heading into the summer, do you keep your roster at 12, or even 11 if you don't, if you're not completely thrilled, with a no-brainer take at UConn, right? But then if you stay at 11 or 12, and you get injuries, now that affects your ability to practice and prepare during the season, right?
Mhm.
We love our walk-ons. I love Andrew, my son, and and the folks that we have in those spots. But you want to have scholarship players so that you can actually get ready for the season. So I think we pivoted away from a smaller roster size, uh, away from like, I don't want to bring in people that might not be good enough and have more people in the portal
Yeah.
potentially next spring. I think we pivoted off that at some point early summer, and really wanted to get more involved internationally, where maybe there was a player with greater upside, rather than maybe a kid domestic that we probably knew was not good enough to play at our level. Whereas with an international player, maybe there was more upside with bringing somebody over there. We wanted to get to 13, because we don't want to compromise our ability to get ready for games. We wanted to have 13
Yeah.
scholarship players.
No, makes sense. An interesting strategy there.
Long answer, but a lot. Those are, we had some some staff debates in there about what to do, and it's hard because of the value of getting a scholarship to play at UConn is like, there's a championship level place where we're,
Right.
so it's tough.
Looking at the offseason so far, how are you feeling about the team at this point? And then what are you looking to get out of these guys in the next, 3 or 4 weeks here leading up to the season?
Deeper, Jared. Much practices are better. Very, very deep team, deep team with veterans. Like, pre Andre's Pinky, and him missing practice. Our first 11 guys, Apostolos is really hit the ground running, as a like a first year freshman. Like, he's gone right into practice and kind of made things very competitive because he is 6'7", 6'8", and he can
Mhm.
play some guard, he can play some four. He's pretty physical. So for our first 11, 12 guys with Richie, I mean, it's like the most competitive practices we've probably had since I've
Mhm.
been here, and way, way more competition, Jared, to earn a role, or to get on the court this year. I feel like, it reminds me of like my year 6 Rhode Island team, where like we played 9 or 10 guys. I think I even got to 10 guys there. But just for you to get a role in the team, you had to be an everyday guy. And if you weren't, you had no chance to start, never mind be 6th, 7th, 8th in the rotation where you still get, great minutes.
Is there a newcomer that fans might be surprised by this year? Anyone in particular that's impressed you that's new to the roster this season?
Um, I would say, just from a practice standpoint, like Caravan is probably, surprised a little bit just with the feel. Now he had a semester with us, and that helped. But he's a very high IQ player, very skilled. I think he's got a chance to be a great player over the course of his career here. He's really, really good. And of the new guys, I really love what Hassan brings. And again, whether he starts or not, he's going to play such a critical role on my team because he's fearless, he's confident, plays with a swagger and an aggressive attacking mentality where, um, he's just my type of guy, and he's got the makeup to play at a place like UConn, where there's very, very high expectations for the season and for how you're going to play and coach. So, he's, again, is he going to be a starter, or is he going to be the first guard off the bench? If you're the first guard off the bench, you play starter minutes.
Right. I know one thing you've said in some of the other interviews you've done in the off season is how you've been working on trying to build up some toughness with this group. How do you go about building toughness during the off season here?
Yeah, Jared, brutally hard practices, man, and just turning up the heat and treating the first couple of weeks like training camp. I mean, we're
Mhm.
still, I'll tell the fans if you release this before first night, like to have low expectations for the dunk contest tomorrow because these guys are going to have no legs. Because we're going to practice tomorrow. Because it's once you do first night, that counts as a practice day. And I
Okay.
and so if it counts as a practice day,
You might as well, right?
yeah, I mean, the only thing that we're going to do basketball tomorrow would not solely be first night, right? So
Yeah.
I've got to get some work on the court. So we'll do a scrimmage and bring reps tomorrow in and probably let these guys play 30-minute like game condition. But yeah, I think you treat it like it's a training camp, Jared, the first couple weeks, and just make the practice plan excruciatingly difficult, and we're pretty much like in these guys' faces about competing and getting after each other. There's not many fouls called. There's not many travels called. There's not many out of bounds called because you're just trying to develop a mentality where you're going to play through the whistle
Hmm.
and you're not going to look at a ref or beg for a call. And because we have so many older players that haven't been in that environment, and we didn't have like it was a speed dating relationship during the transfer portal recruitment.
Hmm.
Um, some of this stuff I would say is maybe not what they signed on for. That maybe a high school kid that spent so much time with you in the recruiting process,
Yeah.
saw your summer and saw so many practices and locker rooms. It is different.
I know Andre's out with the pinky now, so he would have been my favorite for the dunk contest tomorrow. Without him, who you leaning towards?
It's got to be Samson. I mean, if it's going to go well, I think Jordan may be double dipping, giving himself two chances with the threes and the dunk. But if Samson practices something and just, it should be him.
All right.
But these guys are brutal, man. A lot of them don't practice until they get out there, and it's bad. I mean, and that we've been bad in that the last couple of years. So I just pray it's better. I hope the basket goes up.
Yeah. If the basket's up, it's already a step ahead of last year. So
Yes, Lord.
in terms of Jordan, I know he's been getting a lot of hype from, you see it in the national outlets as a potential breakout player. How do you see him handling that hype that comes with those expectations that are thrown on him in the offseason?
I think he's handling it well. I mean, we've got evidence now of back-to-back years, a lottery pick, and then a player that transfers from a mid-major and becomes a draft pick, right? So we have
Yeah.
evidence now in terms of credibility, where I think these players understand that we're giving them the answers to the test, right? Success leaves clues, and we've had guards be incredibly successful here. So just allow us to coach you, allow us to toughen you up and prepare you for the season. I mean, we're in a very similar way. We're really stressing Jordan out in practice. Because he's going to be asked to carry a heavy load on the perimeter. I think when people come in here, whether they're NBA people or national people, I think that when they watch him in practice, I think they see the same things that we see, which is a player that has high level shooting, athleticism, length, and a guy that obviously is potentially in position to have a breakout year.
How big do you see the perimeter game being this year? Bringing that you brought in a lot of shooters here, whether it's through the portal, you've got Alex, getting some minutes this year. How impressed have you been so far with what you've been able to see from the perimeter guys?
Just it's a night and day approach to the offensive end. It's much more similar to year 4 or year 6 at Rhode Island, where we had a stable of guards that were good players, and we had some fours where we could play bigger with like an Alex or a Samson, and you got to have that. Obviously, spacing. You know, our failure at the end of the year in the NCAA tournament and the Big East semis, I think, had more to do with our defense than our offense. Even though our spacing at times became problematic because of the lack
Mhm.
of shooting at a couple of positions, which made it hard for Adama at the end of the year, I think, to play one-on-one. That won't be an issue for him this year or for Donovan, because the pieces fit much much better from an offensive standpoint. So again, this group's going to have to answer questions at the other end of the court, on the backboard, and in terms of togetherness and toughness.
How many threes we expecting from Adama this year?
I hope he shoots them. But again, but I've been in a situation before where, with Isaiah, where he was so much of a better shooter on the practice floor, in skill work, that he just did not bring that to the court in terms of the confidence to shoot it and trust it. But I would like to see Adama, shoot one or two in the first half. If you miss both, you're probably not going to take another one.
Yeah.
If you make one, or if you make the first one, shoot another one. If you miss that one, maybe wait to the second half and try it again. But
Yeah.
I think it's in his tool. It's all in his toolkit, and I think when he's playing against a bigger center like a Kalkbrenner, or bigger centers that you're going to want to pull away from the basket so he can open up the court, with him specifically, it's hard to score in the post against Kalkbrenner. So you're going to have to score him in the ball screen game. You're going to have to score him by drawing him away from the basket, and then trying to drive him, as opposed to back to the basket scoring him. So he's improved his skills as a player, so he's got to take advantage of that.
All right, I'll try to throw some quick hitting ones at you.
Oh, that's a quicker than my bad.
Yeah, last year, first full season being in the Big East with fans in most of these arenas. Where's the toughest place you brought the team on the road last year?
Good question. A couple tough places to play. I would say Villanova, was the toughest place for us to play last year, because of the whole, first of all, when you pull up there, there's tailgating going on, right? So you've got folks in the parking lot tailgating, and just their whole game day operation there, from the anthem through to the arena, all of the video boards, and just the bells and whistles of playing in a state-of-the-art, NBA arena, and they were, whatever they hold, 20,000. They were,
Yeah. All right. I'm going to make sure I'm at that one this year. The in-laws aren't too far from there, so I will be there. I'll give you another couple people in the crowd. I know the latest touch has been the tournament, whether or not it should expand. You think it should expand or leave as is?
I think you leave it as is. I think you cheapen it. I don't think that we should touch much or anything about the NCAA tournament. I think it'd be a mistake.
Yeah, it's not broken. Don't fix it there. In terms of settling a UConn Twitter debate, and I'll try to get you out on this one. Big question in the offseason, because we had nothing else to talk about, was the beach. Are you a beach guy?
I like the beach. I really like the beach, but I love more. I love more mountains. I love more. I love probably more like hiking. I'm probably more like Wyoming, Montana, like Idaho, Dakotas, than I am like coastline.
All right, so we seeing you and Coach Mora out on the hike. Is that what we're seeing out there?
Well, he's much. I think he's way further ahead. I've only taken, like, the best vacation I've ever taken was to Big Sky, Montana. I was out there for 5 days, and it was awesome, man. Rafting, hiking, going to Yellowstone. Like your phone not working, and just being in nature, I thought was like really, really, like just awesome, man. Like, just really cool.
You walk that question perfectly in terms of the beach, by the way. Like, you're not going to piss off the people who don't like the beach, and the people who like the beach are going to like the answer. So well done.
And my wife will get some clips from this. I'm not sure that she's going to like watch or listen to this whole thing, Jared, but she will get a part of this, and she loves the beach. So I'll suck it up.
All right.
I'll suck it
up. Well, Coach, I really appreciate you taking some time here before the season starts. As always, excited to have you back on. So thanks so much for joining me, and best of luck to you and the team this season.
No, it's great being on, man, and you can feel the excitement, and there's just nothing, that there's just nothing better than being a part of just overall the athletic department here. I think it's inspiring going into your season, seeing what men's and women's hockey are doing,
Yeah.
and what Coach Moore is doing, and I'm gonna get to a volleyball game and field hockey, and I hope I didn't miss anything that's going on here, but it's exciting to be part of an athletic department. Everything that baseball and softball and all the great sports here. It's just great to be a part of a place like this. So,
For sure. Well, coach, appreciate the time and thanks again for joining.
gotcha, man. Later.